All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going on a kind of linguistic detective mission. Our goal? To unlock an entire worldview that's been hiding in plain sight, right inside a single ancient word. So, let me ask you this. What do you do when a word isn't just a word? When it's not just a label, but more like a container holding an entire way of seeing the world? How do you crack that open? Well, it turns out some words are less like dictionary entries and more like treasure maps.
So, Section 1, a word's hidden story. I want you to think of this as a kind of locked room mystery. The whole secret is contained in one very common word from the ancient Pali language. On the surface, it seems totally obvious, but that first impression, well, it's hiding something huge about the way our own minds work.
And here it is. Our word is Maññati. Now, the standard by-the-book translation from sources like the Pali Text Society gives us to think, to conceive, or to imagine. Pretty straightforward, right? A simple mental action. You might think, okay, case closed, but not so fast.
This is where the mystery really gets going. What if that simple, academic translation is just completely missing the point? It's kind of like describing a key as just a piece of shaped metal, without ever mentioning the incredible lock it opens. What if to think doesn't even come close to the real power of what Maññati is trying to tell us?
Okay, on to Section 2, the first layer, precision. We're going to start our investigation by putting on our modernist translator hat. We're looking for the most careful, literal dictionary definition possible. Let's just see where that gets us.
So, when we use that precise translation, we get a line from an ancient text that reads like this: "An enlightened person does not think earth." Grammatically, it's totally correct, but it just sounds weird, doesn't it? Almost like nonsense? How can you know earth without thinking earth? This is our first big clue that we're missing something really, really important. So let's move on to Section 3, the second layer, intention. The dictionary led us to a dead end, so now we have to dig deeper. We're switching hats, and now we're going to be ancient linguists trying to get to the root of the word. We're not just looking at the definition, we're hunting for the original speaker's intent. What were they really trying to get across with this word?
And wow, look at this. This is where it all clicks into place. On the left, you have our first layer, these passive, simple words like to think. But on the right, when we look for the intention, it is a completely different animal. It's not passive at all. We're talking about constructing a reality, building a mental concept, even projecting a self onto something. This isn't just thinking. This is an active, powerful process of creation. It's a total game changer.
So let's go back to that confusing quote, but with this new insight. Having directly known Earth as Earth, he does not construct a concept of Earth. Ah, see? All of a sudden it makes perfect sense. The point isn't that they stop thinking. The point is that they stop taking the raw, direct experience of reality and trapping it inside a neat little mental box that they've labeled Earth.
To put it another way, Maññati isn't just you passively observing the world. It's the active mental habit of creating a label, a concept, an idea. And that very idea becomes a filter, a barrier between you and the actual thing. It's the difference between feeling the cool rain on your skin and just thinking the thought, "It's raining." One is a direct experience, the other is a concept about the experience. And that brings us to our final step. Section 4, seeing the meaning. We've done the hard work. We've understood the idea intellectually. But now for the fun part. Let's make this something you can actually see and feel. Because, let's be real, deep understanding isn't just about knowing facts. It happens when that light bulb goes off, when you can truly visualize it. So, we're going to translate this word one last time, not into other words, but into a powerful image.
It all starts with one single thought, an observation that we immediately turn into a concept, a label. Boom, it's like a single, solid block just appeared in your mind. Earth, water, me. Each one is a solid little building block.
But of course, a thought rarely stays by itself for long. That one block, that one little concept, it immediately connects to another one, and then another. This is my land, that water is dangerous, I am this kind of person. And you can see what's happening. The blocks are starting to stack, to link together, to form a structure. And before you even know it, that structure has become your reality. It's a cage built entirely out of your own concepts. You're no longer seeing the world directly. You're seeing it from inside the very prison you've constructed for yourself, thought by thought. That is the hidden world inside Maññati. It's the word for the act of building your own cage. So, what's the big takeaway here? The power of Maññati is realizing that thinking isn't passive. It's the active process of building your reality piece by piece with concepts. And freedom isn't about building a better, fancier cage with more positive thoughts. It's about seeing the world directly, without the filter of our labels, without any bars at all.
And that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We just went from a simple word in a dictionary to a profound psychological process, all hidden in plain sight. It really makes you wonder. What if true understanding isn't about knowing more things, but about learning to see things differently? What other cages have we built for ourselves, and what would the world actually look like if we could finally see beyond their bars?